once I'm done, I'll take me some coarse sandpaper, and I'm going to get in here and I'm going to sand everything. Now this happens to be a 60 grit, which is pretty coarse. But I'm still shaping. I want to get all my shape. You know, when you're sanding, there's always what we call a construction sanding, and then there's a final finish sanding. 60 is obviously a construction sand. And I'm just going to keep on going up through it. Now, you can make this line in here a very sharp crease using the edge of your file. But in reality, the original, actually this was rounded. And we just use a little round file for that, and this is actually just a chainsaw file. And once we're done, we go down through here, right down into the valley, and we clean that up, we smooth that up. Remember I told you when you were cutting it with the rotary tool that we would be coming back redefining all of this. And that's exactly what this is doing. Now, you know, the double twist if this thing is starting to look like the end of a coarse screw to you, you're on the right track. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it looks like. And in reality, I thought that the Finial, the double twist, was a little bit crude, if you will, for the significance of the pieces that it was going on. But once you get it up on the piece, that coarse turning, they wanted a flame, and they wanted something to look like a flame dancing. And this does it. The more twist you put, the more refined and more elegant the Finial becomes. Okay guys, I'm just going to keep on filing and rasping here a little bit and get this thing smoothed up, and when we come back, we'll see what we got. I'm just finishing this thing up with some 180. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed that right here, down here on my little bead on my turning, I have a little piece of masking tape. And that's just so that my files and rasp or nothing would hit that little bead and mess it up. Anyway. But I'm just 180 in all of this to get it cleaned up. And finished up. Now, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm also going to, before I tell you, I'm also going to tell you I've done a few. For me, if I'm by myself, not on camera, and I'm just going down through doing these things, I can do one about every 15 minutes. But I'm going to say it again, I've done a few. And the more twist I have, the longer it takes. But you're not going to get it right on the first time out. Don't plan on that. It's not going to happen. So, you know, it takes a little bit of practice, but not a lot. But it's not difficult. It may look it, but it's really not. The layout is the toughest part. You know, I know I'm going to hear some flack about using Dremel to do this because that ain't real traditional and all that. Well, so be it. Like I said, I've already done enough of them with chisels. And I realized that Goddard, Townsend, and all the old timers didn't have rotary tools and all. They had lathes, and they had chisels and all of that stuff. And you know what? Think about that a minute. No, they didn't have all the conveniences we have today, but I can assure you if they were here, they would be using them. And if they did as well as they did with what they had, could you imagine what they could do with that? sand it up pretty good. I'm up to 180. You know, you want to make sure that everything's kind of nice and round. You don't have any sharp peaks here. That everything's flowing nice. You don't have lumps and bumps and all of that stuff. But don't get crazy and worry about this thing being absolutely, absolutely perfect, because I can assure you the originals are not. You can, you know, there's evidence there that a human being did it, and I like that. I mean, that's okay with me. You know, I don't, you know, when I'm carving something, I'm not too overly worried about getting all the chisel marks out. You know, I hope somebody years from now looks and says, man, I can see where he's been. All right, now we got to separate this. We got to finish the top. Now all I'm going to do is just cut it out. Get a little pressure off of this. All right, now this is what my top looks like. Now all I'm going to do is take a piece of sandpaper and finish the twist out. Just finish the end of the screw out. Just keep following your twist around. What you want to wind up with is this little point just coming right around. And most all of this is going to be gone. Now I'll finish this up and we'll come back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, one flame finial. I sanded it up to 180. Now you can notice how I transitioned to the final top. And we have to remember how it's going to be viewed. This is actually going to be viewed from an elevated point, looking up at it, which means your line of sight is going to be something like this as you're looking up on it. Now, you can make them, you know, here's one that's just a little bit fatter, hair taller. And I showed you this earlier, but I'm going to show you again. This is a triple twist. A little bit more formal, has a little bit more, just a hair longer. But in reality, the only difference in these two is actually the twist. That's it. This is a triple. You know, you can do 4 twists, and the more twists is obviously the more ridges you have and the more elegant it kind of turns and goes up. Now in the Williamsburg one, like I said, one turned left and one turned right. The one in the center actually had a right hand turn, but it was a little smaller finial. And I really didn't care for that. So what I did was I did a left and a right in the double twist, and then in the center I did a little smaller triple twist, and it really, really looked good. So guys, go out there, get you some old hunks of 2x4 and get on your lathe and start playing and practicing. I think this will give you a good sense of achievement, and I think you'll enjoy doing it.